When I had a 300mm f2.8 lens, I generally photographed it at 2.8 or maybe f4. Those things are very expensive to have that wide aperture, so I usually used it at that aperture for that benefit. But that's not always the best answer. In this case, the background is pretty soft and we want to see that road in the distance. At the time that I did this 20 some years ago, I wasn't sure that I wanted that, but looking back, yeah, I would like to have a little bit sharper background. So in those days, rather than stopping down to f16 or 22 or whatever, I didn't want to do that again because of the cost and the whole purpose of a wide lens. Um, so if I wanted a deeper depth of field, what I generally did was to shoot it like this first. And then in case I wanted a sharper background, I focused on the background. That way we'd get a super deep depth of field. Now at this distance and even at f16, maybe the background wouldn't be quite this sharp. So this gave me the option to have it that sharp if I wanted to. And of course you can always blur it a little bit in Photoshop, even though the blur isn't exactly like a lens blur. And then I combined the two images to have everything in focus. And of course I used masking, where you erase parts of the image of one that you don't want so that the underlying layer comes through. Now fast forward to 2017, and I did learn my lesson that when I want a deeper depth of field, just stop down. Now previously in 2004, maybe the reason I didn't was because we were limited in our higher ISO capabilities on those cameras, and so I couldn't really stop down without bumping up the ISO to have a fast enough shutter speed. But anyway, this time I did. So this one is wide open at f2.8. And this one I stopped down to f9. I didn't want to stop down any further than that because then everything would be too tack sharp and it would distract from the subject. In fact, I do feel that the trees behind her could be a little softer, but I want the road to be sharp. So on this one, I left the trees soft, but I used the road from the previous image. And I think I did it in a subtle enough way that it looks believable.